This is Backdoor Boink, where we welcome every side of everyone. Please note, this is an 18-plus podcast. It's time to put in some earbuds if you don't want to answer awkward questions from your children, family, or friends. I'm Kayla, a certified relationship and intimacy coach.
And I'm MJ, and I brought the lube.
In this podcast, we explore the behind the scenes of a weekly wellness topic reviewed on our YouTube channel. Our goal is to help you feel good, be naughty. Thank you for checking out our After Dark, After Hours podcast. You can find more information, including our YouTube channel, social media accounts, events, Discord, and products at boinked.com. That's www.boink-ed.com. Now, let's get in that back door.
Oh no,
What?
There once was a lady from Decatur.
Okay.
She got fucked by a big alligator.
What happened?
Nothing.
Okay, I guess we'll have to find out at the end. All right. So we didn't have a wind down this week.
No.
Because?
I got forced into work early, so I had to go to bed early. And it's an awful lot for you to do a wind down by yourself, followed by a two-person podcast by yourself.
That would be really awkward. I'd have to do voices, and we know I'm really bad at those.
Very bad.
Oh my gosh, you cringed. You just visually cringed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really bad at voices. Thanks for
Sorry.
that. So you had to go do your real job.
I had to do my real job.
Air quotes.
It's a real job.
Oh my gosh.
It's a real job.
It is a real job.
I get paid to go to work,
You do.
and I look cute and pretty.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah. So 3 a.m. this morning. Well, 2:30 I was there, and, didn't get out till 3. Came home, took a nap.
And you were up at midnight to get there on time.
Midnight 30.
Midnight 30. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So what do we talk about then?
Well, you've been busy.
I've been really busy.
I helped.
You helped. You're such a helpful little doober.
I got to match pictures with descriptions.
Yes. So I guess the busyness really started for us when we decided to do the podcast, which...
Led you to decide to do other things.
Right. So this is week 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 weeks straight of work.
How's your ADD?
My ADD. What?
Yeah.
Squirrel? Yeah. And from there, so we launched a podcast, and then I decided we needed a new website.
Yeah. Not just a new website, but a new server, fancier graphics, little transitions.
It's pretty.
It's very nice, and it looks good. And I said thank you, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. But if I have to match pictures with descriptions again, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm just going to go download all fresh new ones.
Well,
Or take fresh new ones.
take fresh new ones. We don't really have a good studio or setup to take product pictures.
No, but we make do for the products we don't get good pictures from your distributor from.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of, we have a new product in where we have to find a way to take pictures. I've
We
got
do?
dragon scale rainbow keychains
Oh, yeah.
that for those with like anxiety and ADD, like me, they're amazing. They're upstairs.
Of course they are. I can't jingle them in the mic for you.
Oh,
Sorry.
the jingle is just the dopamine and the feel of the little scales click 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 click. I fell in love with them. They're from Link's Chainmail. Where did we pick those up?
Connecticut. Tommy's
Oh,
Tattoo Convention.
The tattoo convention.
No, that wasn't Tommy's. That was New England Tattoo.
New England Tattoo.
Ta-
Tommy's is coming up in October,
Yep.
October 13th.
We'll be there.
Yes, we will. Look, you look so excited for that.
I enjoy right up to we have to unload the car at the tattoo convention and set everything up.
It's a lot of work. Here's a question. I guess because today is kind of just about what we do behind the scenes. We do the podcast. I built a website.
You do.
I woke up and every day for, I don't know,
Today is day
15
6.
hours. I've been working. Yeah, I didn't work on it all day today. I am feeling the burnout
But today is day 6 of you working on that thing.
on that website. Yeah.
I did 2 solid days on my days off from my
Real
real job.
The one that actually pays.
You've done
6.
5 full days,
And then
and you
today.
picked at it throughout the day today as you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And then so when we go to a tattoo convention or any vendor event,
Mhm.
it involves taking all the product off the shelf, trying to pack it in as small boxes as possible, in as few boxes as possible, to fit into the little SUV, the little Mazda. Zoom, zoom.
With shelves and tables and a tent and sides for the tent, because the products you bring to most of these you can't display to the
The
younger
masses.
crowd. So we have to figure out, makeshift a curtain
Yep.
to
Table
allow
decorations.
people to have privacy,
Yep.
to block the toys
Yep.
and other products.
And we have to carry these up a flight of stairs,
Usually at least one.
at least one, and then unload it all when we get there and set it all up, which is,
We have a system.
we do. It's taken us a year to figure out a decent system, and, we always forget something.
Always.
And by we, I mean I. I always forget something. Because usually the system is that I pack it and leave it at the bottom of the stairs. And you will haul it up and load the car and then help me to unpack the car and get set up at the location. And I
Yes.
always forget something.
When it comes time to tearing it down, I pack it.
Yeah, because my OCD means if I packed it, it would take 5 hours alone just to pack it. It takes me a day to put all the inventory into the boxes in a way that I can find them to set them up when we get there, and a way that's manageable. So then when we get home, what does that mean? Since you packed all the shit and just threw it in the boxes.
I don't throw it in the box. I do try to keep like items with like items. But when we do get home, I unload the car. I bring it all down to the basement. I unpack the boxes. I set them up on the shelves.
And then for the next week, I go, where's such and such?
I try and put them back in the same general area.
Yes.
But there are days where you couldn't find the nose on the end of your face.
Thanks for that. That's really...
Yeah, love you.
Uh-huh. Oh, today, speaking of love, happy 10-year wedding anniversary.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome. And
Who's the lucky gal?
I hope that you know who she is. Otherwise, this is going to get real weird real fast.
I like
gonna-
making things weird. You know that.
You too.
Yes, happy anniversary.
10 years of marriage and 13 years together.
Who'da thunk?
What did I say to you when you had to roll out of bed at 10:30 this morning? Or, sorry, 12:30 a.m. this morning?
You actually remembered. You said happy anniversary.
And then what did I say?
I don't know.
Because you were still half asleep.
Uh-huh.
I said, do you regret it yet?
Insert evil chuckle here. What? The question is do you?
That's pretty much what you said. You're like, I don't. But do you? And I don't.
Mm.
I just think it's funny that I told you if you made it past the 2.5 or 3 year mark, you were stuck with me. And so far, you're stuck with me.
It's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even with the previously mentioned ADD and the job that doesn't pay that requires, 16-hour days.
Is that all?
We could go ahead and throw in my anxiety, my undiagnosed, BPD.
It's all good. It's all good.
Keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Although I'm getting old and tired. I'm not sure how, much I like the interesting so much anymore.
I feel like I'm getting old and tired, and I'm kind of tired of myself most days. Does that happen to everyone? Does that happen to you? Are you ever
Some days.
you just sick of how your brain is doing the things?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is what it is, though. We just power through it, make do. It'll be a better day tomorrow.
Wait for the next
Maybe.
good day. Hope for the next good day. I will say that truly when I woke up this morning, I had one of my moments of clarity, I guess. And I was just looking at myself in the mirror and wondering why we made it to 10 years. And not why we made it, but how the fuck you put up with me for actually 13 years. it's just one of those moments where I had to stop and step outside all of the work, all of the chaos, all of the bills, all of the being a mom, all of the responsibilities, and be like, oh, he's still here. He's stuck with me. He's stuck through it. Oh, that's right. He's still here. And just take a moment of getting out of my own way and appreciating you.
Well, to be fair, multiple occasions you did try running me off.
That was a long time ago. That was, again, the
And I
first
stuck
3
through
years. The first 3 years, you stuck those through. Those were the hardest, I think.
We'll say the first 6. Because it's like
Ouch.
we got married in that 3-year reset.
This is the first time I'm hearing this. You think so? We got married. We moved in here.
Yeah.
And we did the whole
House picket fence,
house
pool,
picket fence pool.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it really rough?
It was for a while.
Huh.
You were having some I need to be wild moments.
Oh.
Now she remembers.
Yeah.
Now
So
she remembers.
this is generally how conversations in our household go. My brain likes to gloss over the difficult parts.
And I have no filter, but I just tend to beat around the bush when reminding her of these things.
Right. So no, you're right. Okay, the first 6 years was more roller coaster than anything else.
It's all good. It was fun. Mostly.
You're definitely the stable one in this relationship.
We're screwed.
We are so screwed. But I think the other thing is we're like not in a constant balance as in we're always on the same level, but those scales, like the scales of justice, or when you used to, in science class, you would put the little grams on one side and you would weigh what was on the other. We're balancing each other out in that way. So when I'm off in la fuck all anxiety land, you balance that out, and vice versa.
Yeah. Mostly.
And
Mostly. And then I go to work and I can decompress.
And I mean, mostly is all it takes.
Yeah.
I think in a relationship, there's no expectation that we're always going to be perfect. There's no expectation that even 99% of the time that it's going to be roses and rainbows.
It's always roses and rainbows. Sometimes they're just black.
Sometimes they're just black roses and grayscale rainbows.
We don't talk about that movie.
That's
or those
a movie?
books. Those gray.
Oh, yeah, we don't talk about the variations of gray.
All 50 of them.
Do you have a favorite smut?
All of them.
All of them. Sorry, this episode has no theme other than
Nope.
burnout and anniversary. Other than that, it's just a glimpse into the shit that falls out of our face when no one's around.
You know me.
Yes.
They don't all know me.
No.
We go back to the comment a few weeks ago about kinks and, once you find your kink, you're hardcore in that kink.
Mm-hmm.
That's and I'm the one that will, for science.
Hold on. I'm always for science once.
You're always
Maybe
for science.
Twice.
Right.
But
and
you...
even if it's not yours, if somebody puts it out there for science, somebody being me, you'll at least give it 1 or 2 shots to be like, hey, yeah, we did this.
Yeah, well...
I'm the one that I'll explore.
See, I explore for the sake of being able to educate.
Right.
And sometimes for self-interest. Yes. You explore
For the fuck of it.
Yes, for the pure joy of exploring.
Right.
I think ever since we've had that podcast episode, you have latched on to that. I'm an experimentalist. And it's so cool to see your face light up when you say it.
We're not big on titles.
No.
But, that is one title that I'll stick with,
Isn't it interesting?
I'll try most anything. Definitely some hard limits there. We won't go into those. If I can do research on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can justify it in my own mind.
Mm-hmm.
And think it's something that one or both of us will enjoy, at least for science.
For
once.
science.
So when I say I like all the smut, I do and I don't. I don't read much smut anymore.
No.
I
used
don't
to.
work the overnight shift where I could just pull it up on my phone and read it or download it on my... But I used to read everything and anything I could get my hands on just to stay awake. So it had to be somewhat entertaining. Did it have to be remotely real? No.
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 Some sci-fi alien tentacle stuff for you?
Right, sci-fi, alien tentacle, Hukao, it didn't matter. It was just
Hukao.
as long as it was written in a way that it would hold my interest.
Okay.
No, not into it.
Rewind.
but-
What is Hukao?
excuse you?
Achoo. What's Hukao?
Get your mind in kind of pet play.
Are we talking like moo-moos? Like all those sexy individuals we see dressed in the moo cow little get-ups?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you call it?
They're Hukaos.
They're Hucows.
Hucow.
H-U.
Human cow.
Hucow.
Yeah. And,
Oh.
some of them are.
I get it. No, I get
Yeah.
it now. No, thank you for. I did not know it had a term. My introduction to smut was like Yahoo chat rooms.
Yeah.
And my first characters were anthropomorphic. They were,
Right.
Nikos. They were cat people.
Cute little things.
Cute little cat people.
Right.
Ooh, sexy. But I did not know that cow people had
Oh.
who cows.
Well, I guess you'll have to put that down on your wind down
Wind
list.
Down Wednesday list. We should go and find all the names for the different anthropomorphic kind of
You could do that too.
fetishes. I mean, the ones that aren't quite furries. We're not
Right.
talking like a full suit. We're talking they have that human quality with that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ooh. Some pet play. Yes. Okay. Who
I-
cows?
So I'll read most any smut if it's given to me in one form or another. I'll take a look at it.
I have reached a point where I am particular about my smut. I've read some really interesting smut.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that I remember the most involved a woman with a bucket of eels. But we don't need to go into
I
detail.
saw that video. I believe I showed you that video.
I think you did, and it gave me flashbacks to the book I read when I was probably too young to be reading such things. But I find that I'm more particular now. I don't know. I
A more
wanted to
refined palette.
a more refined palette. Again, I've done my experimental-ness. I've, browsed all the different varieties, and I'm still open to them, but I know what I like now, and I'm gung-ho deep in it.
I know what I like too, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to read junk either.
Yeah. I do want to circle back to how you said we're not big on labels,
Right.
but this experimentalist
Mm-hmm.
title for you is something that you're going to hold on to.
I'm just going to throw it at you every now and then.
My thing is when you heard it, when we kind of fell into it on that podcast,
Yeah.
how does it feel?
It doesn't to me.
Really?
Really.
Because your face lights up when you say it.
Well, it's for science.
So it's more about the thrill of what it means than
Then
actually
yeah.
having that title. Okay. Because as a person who struggled with my own, identities and titles for a long time, I remember the feeling of when I found the ones that were for me.
When you met me,
Yep.
I had multiple titles.
Uh-huh.
Not in the kink sense, but I had multiple titles.
In your job.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? When I first got those titles, just like anybody who gets those titles, stand up straight, puff out the chest, I got a title.
Okay.
Who cares? After having titles for so many years, who cares? If you need a title, if you want a title, by all means have one.
But they come and go. And
Titles
they change.
come and go. Titles change. Sometimes they're good titles. Sometimes they're not so good titles. I just kind of over it. I'm kind of over everybody trying to put everybody else in boxes based on a title that means one thing to you, but means something a little different to me.
So I can see both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the one hand, if there's a word out there to describe how I identify, that means I'm not alone. And that's a really
It's a
good
starting
feeling. But when we have so many, like instead of just being a kinkster, now we're, breaking it down into subdivisions and subcategories of subdivisions, it becomes dividing. And that's true in so many aspects of our world nowadays.
It's like trying to read a flowchart.
Well, yeah, it becomes like trying to read a flowchart, you know. Bisexual is a version of pansexual, is a version of this, that, and the other. And I appreciate that people have a sense of not being alone. That's what these exact titles do for me. Bisexual, pansexual, brat, which is a category of slave. But I do see how it can be dividing.
Mm-hmm. You got the title that, this one title and all these offshoots, and we're all on the same team, but the titles and what everybody brings to it and how everybody identifies that title is a little different. And then there's a lot of animosity within that one group alone, let alone maybe that's just me.
No, it's not. I've joined a lot of bisexual, lesbian groups, like on Facebook, for example, and I've joined a lot of kink groups on Facebook. And somebody will use a term and it doesn't bring people together.
No.
Instead, it causes a lot of...
Causes a rift.
Discourse. Yeah, it causes a lot of drama where people start picking apart what that means or what it should mean or how you should use it.
For example, the brat title.
Okay.
People
I'm
either
curious.
embrace it
I embrace it.
or they want nothing to do with it. The second you say brat, they're out.
You mean like the DOMs are out? Which is a personal preference because we're a lot to handle.
You are a lot to handle. But, not just the DOMs. Just people don't want to be associated with brats.
True.
Another one.
Like there's this conception that a brat is not a actual submissive. They're
Right.
not.
Right.
Which is not true.
In some cases, it could be.
It's not. So
But
a brat.
what I've seen, the people who do embrace being brats are that little 6-year-old go screw yourself mentality. But I'm going to do it anyway. But you're going to make me.
Yes, exactly. Make me. That's the difference. So a brat is still a submissive. A brat is somebody who wants to submit, but they want to make you earn it. They want to give you the reason to punish them that has a psychological validity to it. You're in the mood to spank me? Okay. I'm going to give you a psychologically appropriate reason to earn that, quote, punishment, as opposed to a dom who has a well-behaved, submissive who might be cool with the idea of, I'm going to spank you because I want to. You didn't do anything wrong, but that's what I want to do today. It's just a different approach.
Yeah.
And psychologically, it's what works for me. I'm going to earn my punishment, my punishment. Yes, I want it, but I'm going to give us a reason to do it.
Can you find the time?
That's a different matter. The website is it's like 90% done. It's just my OCD now that's making me. So we'll have time for punishment soon-ish.
Mark that on your calendar. Today is the 13th of July, 2013.
It's our anniversary, and I'm saying, oh.
No, 2023.
Did you say 13? Feeling old. Feeling so old. But to the identity point, when I used to talk about kink with people, I used to say, I'm a slave, but I'm not submissive. And it would become this whole long explanation of, I'm a slave, but I wanted to make you work for it.
Right.
This is what I'm looking for. And then that term brat came across my screen one day. Thank you, Kinkland. No, not Kinkland. Thank you, FetLife. And I was just over the moon. There's a term, and it's a term that when you hear it, you just fucking know. You just get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also part of the key, is that there's a lot of terms out there nowadays that they need a full explanation. Mine came with inherent connotation of the word. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everybody knows what a brat is.
Yep.
But if I were to say to you another controversial title.
Oh, let's hear it.
Little.
Ooh, yep. I struggle with that one.
Mm-hmm. Middles, littles. Now they're breaking it down, but it still falls under that one category that makes people either embrace it or cringe.
Yeah.
And yes, there are people who like their binkies and want to act like a 3-year-old and check out for a while. Let them. I'm not going to judge them for that. I don't care.
Before we go any further, I think we need to distinguish when we are talking in the kink variety versus medically psychological age regression. So we are talking somebody who does this deliberately
Right.
as an outlet,
Right.
that sort of thing. Okay.
Right. You know, people will cringe. People will go the other way. People don't want to associate with them. Okay. So it's not your kink. Let them have their kink. Let them have their time.
Yeah.
It's no different than you wanting to put on your big boy dom pants, and
it's another role.
it's just another role. It's a way for them to check out of reality for a while.
Yep.
Have their fun. But it's one of those controversial titles that people get and or given or take that causes rifts.
I think a lot of that has to do with the attributing of sexual acts into BDSM. And since caregiver little relationships are considered BDSM, now people are like, eek, okay,
Yeah.
what's
and
sexual about that? But a
and
lot of times it's
it's
not. It's the non-sexual side of BDSM.
Right.
Which
And-
there is a lot of.
And then you go into the people that use that nasty P word.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna...
Like I said, it's a whole topic for another time.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode,
You
and
could
we
do
will.
a whole week.
We will. It's definitely something that's been on the list, but I'm approaching it with the same sensitivity that I approached CNC, consensual non-consent,
Yeah.
when I finally did an episode on that.
You kind of have to with that one.
Well, I mean, yes, it's my job to kind of have to do all the topics
Right.
and make sure that people understand so that we get less of that cringe. But even inherently, like I said, you said little, and I inherently I will admit, I struggle with that.
Yep.
And that comes from,
And I will be the first one to tell you that you're probably a middle.
and I'm more comfortable with that. And I wonder if that's where that word middle developed out of. Because no matter what, it's still this taking on of a younger persona.
Not all the time, but you need your blanket. You need to snuggle on the couch. You need to be
Hair pets and
Hair pets
coloring
and-
books.
yeah.
and yes. But that's funny because how many apps are there on people's phones where they're just coloring? They're just tapping to color. It's just another comfort mechanism.
yeah.
And some people will really put energy into that. And they'll take on that title, middle, little, because they're putting energy into it, as opposed to just having the blanket at bedtime or just having the app on their phone. They set aside time. I'm going to go into my little space and
Yeah.
I'm going to color.
They get out
and
their crayons and their markers and their pencils. And
mommy or daddy is going to take care of me
Mm-hmm.
while I'm in this mental space where I just need to check out for a while.
and they're going to keep me safe.
Yeah, it's really wholesome when you think about it
Mm-hmm.
that way. It's self-care.
It is. And quite honestly, most people, when they're in that, like you said before, when they're in that stage, it's nothing sexual.
No.
It's all about comfort and care.
So, you said I'm a middle.
I would say you're a middle.
And I have noticed you being more encouraging
Yeah.
of the middle or little kind of mentality. Is this I'm putting together the pieces here because you do things and I don't always see the motives.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your way of telling me to take time for self-care?
Maybe.
Take time away from work
Put the laptop down.
Okay, I see what you're doing there. I was wondering why I was getting these gifts in the vein of the little and middle category when it's not what I would list among my kinks.
No.
It was your way of saying, slow the fuck down, take some time for you
Smell
and
the
us.
flowers.
And okay.
It's been how many years? 13 years?
And you never just spell things out.
No.
You
Because it has
never.
to be your idea. I just have to plant a seed and water it.
This is going to really upset me to admit, but it makes you the more maniacal, plotting, and strategic of
I
the
had a
both
good
of us.
teacher.
Who? Are you looking at me? I'm super flattered, but if you mean somebody else, then I don't know.
I'm looking at you.
Okay, cool. But I'm also impatient, so you will plant seeds and you will water them for
I'll
ages.
drown them.
You will just keep watering until finally there's like this little sprout, this little root. I will just plant seeds for like maybe a month or two.
And then just go by the tree.
And then then I'd hit you with the fucking tree. I'd chop it down and just like whack.
So somebody, I had a conversation with somebody in your family, and I'm not going to mention names ever to anybody. I'm going to protect the innocent.
No one in my family is innocent.
But, you know, they kind of informed me that you're kind of like somebody else in their family, and it has to be your idea. So plant the seed and just be patient.
Wow. Somebody gave you some really good fucking advice, and you actually took it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who in my family is insightful enough for this, and I don't know. There's a couple possibilities.
But we're not going to mention names here anyway.
Not here. You can tell me later.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'll
Okay.
let you guess later.
Okay, cool. I like to think that there are insightful people in my family, but not a lot of people who would openly give that sort of advice, because that's, again, we've talked about my family, and it's like, hey, love you.
Yep.
Might get a hug. Yep. So, yeah. So we've made it 13 years. You ready for 13 more?
Sure.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I was going somewhere with something before we got sidetracked because, you know.
We don't have an agenda.
Oh, yeah. That and your ADD is contagious.
My ADD is contagious. No, I guess I would like to say that I'd love to hear more from listeners. I know this is like a faceless voice out there, but I would love it if people would send in what they want to learn. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I'm afraid to be repeating things, but now that we have a whole new platform, ideally we might have a whole new audience base. So we're going to have to circle back. At some point, we have to circle back to the 101s of sex and relationships and intimacy and all of that. So what do you want to hear?
Just the good stuff.
Just the good stuff? The
Just the
heavy
good stuff.
breathing and the moaning?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think after this, we need to sit down and maybe plan a... Don't give me that look. I don't mean like directly after this. Directly after this, you need to go to bed. But as much as I'm loving just the helter-skelter behind the scenes, this is what our life is like.
What do people want to know?
What do people want to know?
Within reason, obviously.
I'm an open book.
No. Within reason.
I'm willing, if somebody has a curiosity, if somebody has a question, I'm willing to talk about anything.
Really?
Really.
What'd you have for dinner tonight?
I had a peanut butter sandwich because you didn't cook for me. So again, I ate like a child. So I ate a peanut butter sandwich. Not a peanut butter and jelly, not a peanut butter and fluff. A peanut butter between 2 slices of white bread. The whitest child meal ever.
I'll have you know,
What does that have to do with anything?
that's wheat bread.
Oh.
And this is my point. Talk about most anything. Nobody cares what we had for dinner.
Oh. Okay, nobody cares what we had for dinner. Okay,
I had
so
mini
within...
raviolis.
You did. So what I'm trying to say is if somebody has a legitimate question, or if somebody's curious about our lives with a point that might be interesting to other people, I'm willing to share, because our goal is to give people the information they need to make the safest, most fulfilling decisions for themselves.
Okay.
You're giving me a super sly look. And I know that you are not the open book in this relationship, in this podcast. You're an open book with me, but not on the podcast, because the air quotes here, the real job.
Bingo.
It's the one that's paying the bills.
Yes.
So we are going to protect your job, your face, but there's still plenty that we can talk about, and I'm always happy to talk about anything, because this is my job. It doesn't necessarily pay, but I enjoy it. So they can send contact forms, they can send emails. All the information is right on the brand new website. I just want to go stare at the website now. Can I go do that for a while?
You have to edit this because you promised people that it would be out no later than Friday.
Okay, I'll edit this and stare at the website.
Yeah.
And multitask. I'll probably put on some Shibari lessons, or maybe some audio smut. Who knows? Because I can never just do 1 or 2 things at a time.
No, you can't.
All right. Well, that's it for this evening.
Yeah. I think we're pretty well good.
Pretty well good. So bring it. Let's hear a naughty limerick, because you teased us.
Again, these things drive me nuts.
All the more reason we enjoy it.
They're not even educational.
Again, while we are going to answer some questions, and this is educational in some way, it's mostly for funs and ha-has, shits and giggles. And the occasional mwahaha. Just give us a naughty limerick.
There once was a young plumber named Lee who plumbed his girl down by the sea. Said the lady, "Stop plumbing, I hear someone coming." Said the plumber, "Still plumbing, that's me."
I like that one. All right. Well, again, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Mm-hmm.
Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. And as always, feel good. Be naughty. Thanks again for listening to this podcast. I started Boink in 2022 with the goal to create a safe environment and culture for all genders and sexual orientations, to learn about and embrace every part of themselves and one another. We offer workshops, events, and various inclusive products, along with consultations, to make sure we take a holistic approach to enhancing individuals' sexual satisfaction with themselves or their partners. I believe that when you accept yourself and your partner on the most intimate of levels, it filters out into your daily life. The World Health Organization recognizes this, saying sexual health is fundamental to the overall health and well-being of individuals, couples, and families, and to the social and economic development of communities and countries. So as long as you'll have us, Boink will be here. Kink-affirming, gender-blurring, sex-fulfilling. And you can find any of our details at www.boink-ed.com.